Hey everyone, this is Mike with Play More Games, and today we're going to do a quick, we're going to take a look at Sedgwick Attacks, which is Volume 10 in the American Civil War Blind Swords series from Revolution Games. The designer on this game is Claude Whalen, developer Roger Miller, and of course this is the Herman Luttman series of Blind Swords games. This is the 10th volume in the Civil War volume, but really at this point it's a very big series of games, because the Blind Swords and Blind Swords adjacent systems, which includes the Black Swan series, which is with Flying Pig. They have a very big, very fun Gettysburg game, and they have a Chickamauga game on the way. Then over at Tiny Pig Publishing, there's two titles in the Shattered Union series. There's a small game on the first day of Gettysburg, and then over at GMT Games you have the Franco-Prussian War at Any Cost, which is up on P500 for a second printing. Anyway, everyone loves Blind Swords. I love it. You love it probably, and if you don't already love it, you're gonna love it. It's a lot of fun, and really, with so much out there, I would just look for something, one that maybe a battle that strikes your fancy, or something that you can find pretty inexpensively. This is brand new, just came today. I think I paid maybe I think it was $40 for the bag version, and you can pay the extra $20 and get a box, but I figure why bother. So, alright, let's take a quick look. So this is the Salem Church attack portion of Chancellorsville. So on the back here is our turn record, and eliminated units, the broken box track, where units that are eliminated from the map can kind of repair and come back. So this is a nice piece of production economy. So let's take a quick look at the map. The map is very, very gorgeous. In it here, so we have victory points are marked with these stars. You can see these blue and red stars and these red stars here. The red stars means at a glance this is a Confederate objective. Blue and red means these are both Union and Confederate objectives, meaning both sides score points for them. And further down the road, if Sedgwick has a good day, are Union objectives. And they're worth different points for each faction. The big one is, of course, Salem Church, which I think is 10 for the Union and 5 for the Confederate. I don't know, I just got this. But anyway, the Unions will come on from over here, the Confederates will have their ambush set up. This is, I don't think I've seen this in any other titles. I have them all, I haven't played all of them. Improved positions, and we'll talk about that in a second. And I'm just going to ever so gently pan down the road here. Yeah, so we can see those Union objectives. So if Sedgwick has a really good day, he might make it down there. And there are three scenarios. One replicates the historical attack. One allows for there are two hypotheticals in the scenario description. And odds are, if you're watching this video, you probably already know this. When Sedgwick attacked, he brought his troops up, and as is so often the story with lost opportunities, especially in the Civil War, spent time rotating divisions deploying for the attack, right? So you have the historical battle that does that. You have the second one, which says, okay, well, what if there was no delay, same division, no delay, and the third one says, okay, well, what if there's no unit swap, and they just came down the road and continue pushing down the road. That one, you have more time as the Union, but your troops are weary and are set up on their brittle sides. So let's look at some of the components. At this point in the series, they've transitioned to a series rulebook, which is nice. And we also have an exclusive rulebook. So adopting this series and exclusive rulebook format, which I think is helpful. Because then you're not tracking down, especially in the first couple of volumes, there were a couple of things that changed from title to title. So then you were kind of like tracking down the differences. So if you were playing them consecutively, it could get a little weird. This is something that is in the more recent ones that I really like. I saw this, I was introduced to this in Grand Havoc, which is a huge battle in terms of the number of counters. So I really recommend that title. So these manage your brigades. If you're unfamiliar with how the core of the game plays, it is a chit pull system. And let's take a quick look at the Confederate Brigade activation. So you have the Wilcox Brigade over here. Alright, so we have a good idea of what this looks like. And they only have one formation, so this is actually a bad example. Let's look at McLaw's division. So this is one of the chits in the cup, and when you pull it, you'll roll this number, right? And if you roll less than this number, you get a full activation. You can do whatever you want. You can assign one of 4 orders, which are attack, maneuver, defend, and attack, defend, maneuver, and regroup. And depending on what you do, you get different movement allowances, different actions. So then you have these four brigades. You pick one of them at a time, activate it, and then toss this back into the cup. So you can't activate the whole division at once, but if you pull this again, you can activate it again. You also have a commander-in-chief that lets you activate any one division, even if it's already been previously activated. And that's how the core of the system goes. Now you can see, if you're thinking about it, alright, the Union has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Compared to 3, right? So odds are, and this one only has 1. Part of the system, the blind sword system, is managing that sort of chaos. Like, okay, maybe the Union will pull all of their chits early and don't get to advance, or maybe the Confederates will pull their chits early and don't get to attack because the Union hasn't moved up. So it's interesting in that way. Adds a lot of replayability. Some of the other chits you'll find in there are event chits, and these are just you have a Confederate player aid card and a Union player aid card. Some of these are similar. Some of them are unique to each side. And they'll do different things. And basically it's kind of how you expect in a chit pull system. You just pull out of the cup, do whatever it says. Some of them have a play or hold option. And then you have a double-sided player aid chart. And this might look confusing, but it's not. Basically what you do is you figure out your starting strength, and then you come down here and you look for shifts. And there's shifts left, shift right, and really it's really not so bad. And then you roll the dice, and based on the die result, you index where it is, and you'll get either a blank, which means no effect, a green, a yellow, or a red. And then the other side will take a cohesion test. Right? So let's look at the units. That'll make more sense after we look at the units. So these are the morale status markers, but every unit, let's look at the Grant's Vermont units. So every unit has a firepower rating. So this one is 5. The 5th Vermont is 5, and an R. And okay, for that purpose, it means rifles. For the most part, these units are going to be using rifles. There are a couple exceptions that use smoothbores, And then when you're looking at artillery, that's especially important, and at a glance, most of the artillery looks to be rifled in this game, although there are some smoothbore cannons. So this one is 5 firepower and 3 cohesion rating. That's kind of like its morale. So if you think back to where we were here, if my starting unit has 12 firepower, we look at, and we roll a 41, let's say, then we would come over here and say, okay, if this unit has a 3 to 6 morale, we'll take a green test. And the green tests are over here. So routine test, pretty easy. Here's depletion results. Basically, those are your flips, and then retreat results. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, and that's about all that I wanted to cover in this look at the game. There's only 1 or 2 cavalry units, which is nice. So you don't have to worry too much about the cavalry rules. There's a couple of one-sided units, which means they'll break pretty easily. And those were the ones I told you about at the start of the video. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this one. I'm sorry, my cat keeps growling. She's a little cranky. She hasn't had her treat yet. So I'm going to go give her her treat, and then we'll take a look at the next one, which is Prelude to Vicksburg. So, if you already watched that, then you've already seen it. So hopefully my cat is not as angry in that one. Anyway, this is Mike with Play More Games. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.